Hi, Black Cat Recapped here. Today I am going to explain a sci-fi movie named Interstellar. A woman named Murph, who is old, talks to the camera. She tells us that her father used to be a farmer, just like most people during that time. But he didn't start out as a farmer. Murph's father, Cooper, used to be a pilot. We see him in a vehicle that he flies. Murph, when she was a child, goes into Cooper's room and asks him if he had a dream about a crash. She thinks there might be a ghost in their house, but Cooper doesn't believe in ghosts. We also see clips of old people talking about the place they lived in, which had a lot of crops and fields with corn. Cooper lives with his 15-year-old son, Tom, and his father-in-law, Donald. During breakfast, Murph brings a part of Cooper's flying vehicle to the table. Cooper drives the kids to school and also plans to meet Murph's teacher. He allows Murph to handle the truck, but they end up getting a flat tire on the road. Tom makes fun of Murph by calling her Murphy's Law. Cooper gets out of the truck to change the tire when they notice a drone flying above them. Cooper quickly gets back in the truck and drives through the cornfield to chase after it. They track the drone towards the edge of a hill near a lake. Cooper then takes out a device that controls the drone and lets Murph have a turn with it. Cooper has a meeting with the principal of the kids' school and Murph's teacher, Ms. Kelly. The principal shows Cooper Tom's test grades and suggests that Tom would excel as a farmer, but Cooper disagrees and thinks Tom has the potential to be a great engineer, even if the test results don't reflect that. Ms. Kelly shows Cooper a textbook that Murph brought to school, which is a federal textbook. However, it's forbidden at the school because their textbooks claim that the Apollo missions were fake and created to harm the Soviet Union financially. Cooper is upset about what his daughter is being taught, and mentions that if his wife were still alive, she would handle the situation more calmly. Unfortunately, Murph ends up getting suspended as a consequence. Cooper receives a call to return home and discovers several tractors surrounding the crops, indicating a problem with the food supply. The following day, the family attends a baseball game. Donald expresses dissatisfaction with the availability of popcorn instead of hot dogs. Suddenly, the crowd notices a massive dust storm approaching. Cooper quickly drives the family home, providing them with protective masks. Murph realizes that the window in her room is open, prompting her and Cooper to rush upstairs and close it. They find distinct lines of dust on the floor, forming parallel patterns. Cooper examines them and realizes they are actually coordinates. Cooper decides to drive to the location indicated by the coordinates, with Murph secretly joining him in the truck. Upon arrival, Cooper prepares to cut through a fence using bolt cutters. However, a robot named TARS appears and captures Cooper. Cooper undergoes questioning by TARS until Dr. Amelia Brand enters the room. She takes Cooper to a space where other scientists, including Murph, are gathered. The leader of the group is Professor Brand, who happens to be Amelia's father. Alongside them are Doyle and Romilly, who are also scientists. They reveal that they are part of NASA. Professor Brand explains the dire situation. The Earth's crops and food supply are deteriorating rapidly, and the plan is to embark on a mission to search for a new habitable place in the universe to ensure the survival of humanity, as saving the Earth may not be feasible. Prior to their mission, a group of astronauts, led by the renowned Dr. Mann, embarked on what are known as the Lazarus missions to find a new world. Romilly explains that scientists have discovered a wormhole, which serves as a gateway to another galaxy where they could explore and potentially find a new habitable world for humans. This is referred to as Plan A. However, there is also Plan B, which involves using fertilized embryos to rebuild human life in case Plan A fails. Cooper disagrees with Plan B and chooses to support Plan A. When they return home, Murph is upset with Cooper and storms off to her room. Cooper tries to console Murph in her room, but she is too angry to listen. She reveals that she decoded a message from the books falling off her shelf using Morse code, and it says, "Stay." Cooper promises that he will eventually return home, even though he doesn't know when. As a token, he gives Murph his watch, but she angrily throws it against her bookshelf. Just before Cooper leaves, a couple of books fall off the shelf. Cooper departs for the station in his truck, bidding farewell to Donald and Tom. Murph arrives too late to say goodbye, and Cooper checks the passenger seat, hoping she may have stowed away again, but she isn't there. Tears well up in his eyes. Cooper, Amelia, Doyle, and Romilly launch into space aboard their spacecraft, embarking on their mission that will take them to Mars and later Saturn. Accompanying them are TARS, the robot, and Case, the ship's computer. They successfully dock their shuttle onto the space module called Endurance. Back on Earth, Professor Brand returns Cooper's truck to Tom, who can now use it. Professor Brand also informs Donald and Murph that they can send messages that will be transmitted to Cooper. However, Murph is still angry and resentful. The astronauts travel through the wormhole, witnessing the vastness of space and countless stars. They are aware that time behaves differently on the planets they visit due to varying gravitational forces. For every hour they spend on these planets, approximately 7 years pass on Earth. Understanding the time disparity, Cooper realizes the importance of efficiently accomplishing their mission without squandering valuable years for those back on Earth. To optimize their efforts, he devises a strategy to navigate around the black hole called Gargantua and reach a planet referred to as Miller's Planet, named after a fellow astronaut who landed there. The team successfully lands on Miller's Planet, which is covered by an expansive body of water. Romilly decides to stay on the spacecraft while Cooper, Amelia, Doyle, and Tars venture out. As they explore, they come across a damaged beacon belonging to Miller, but there is no sign of Miller herself. Amelia mistakes distant mountains for what is, in reality, an enormous and imminent tidal wave heading directly towards them. Cooper urges Amelia to abandon the beacon retrieval and return to the spacecraft for safety. Tragically, Doyle is swept away and killed by the forceful wave, while the others manage to make it back to the craft. Inside, they discover that due to the time dilation near the black hole, Romilly has aged 23 years during their relatively short expedition. Inside the spacecraft, Cooper discovers a series of video messages. Most of the messages are from Tom, his son. The first message shows Tom, now at his current age, and sharing that he has met a woman named Lois. As the messages progress, Cooper sees Tom as an adult, who is now married to Lois, and they have a baby named Jesse. Overwhelmed with emotion, Cooper begins to cry. Another video message reveals a sorrowful Tom, hinting that something has happened to Jesse. He also shares the unfortunate news of Donald's passing. The final message comes from an adult Murph, who is at the age Cooper left, and promised to return. Murph begins to weep, intensifying Cooper's emotional response. In the present time, Murph is working alongside Brand at NASA, collaborating to complete the equation that Cooper had been working on. This equation aims to provide a solution for humanity to escape Earth's gravitational pull. Despite her involvement, Murph still carries some lingering resentment towards her father for leaving her behind. Cooper, Amelia, and Romilly gather together, contemplating their next destination, either Edmund's or Mann's planet. During their discussion, Cooper discovers that Amelia has strong feelings for a fellow scientist named Wolf Edmonds, after whom one of the planets is named. She expresses her desire to reunite with him and emphasizes that love is a force that can transcend the constraints of time and space. Amelia believes that their love holds immense significance in their journey. Murph visits the hospital, where her partner Getty guides her to Brand's room. She discovers that Brand is gravely ill and nearing the end of his life. Despite Murph's hopeful outlook regarding the mission's success, Brand reveals that he had actually solved the equation a long time ago. He confesses that he now places what little faith he has left in Plan B. With his dying breaths, Brand shatters Murph's hope, leaving her devastated. After he passes away, Murph takes it upon herself to send a video message to Amelia, informing her of her father's demise and the tragic news. The astronauts stumble upon an icy planet with frozen clouds, where they discover another spacecraft with a pod inside. To their surprise, they find Dr. Mann in a state of hypersleep. When he wakes up and sees Cooper, Mann becomes overwhelmed with emotion at the sight of another human. Afterward, Mann proceeds to explain the planet's unique environment to the team. He reveals that the planet experiences 67 hours of daylight followed by another 67 hours of darkness, along with the hazardous icy conditions. During this time, the team receives a message from Murph, which is also addressed to Amelia. Murph questions if both Cooper and Amelia were aware that the mission was a deception and that Cooper had simply abandoned his family. This revelation shocks Amelia, and Mann confesses that he, too, has come to view the mission as a failure. Murph visits the old family home, where Tom resides with his family. Tom and Lois have another son named Coop. However, Tom's family is suffering from a persistent cough caused by the deteriorating conditions in the area. Despite the health concerns, Tom refuses to acknowledge the problem and refuses to relocate his family. Meanwhile, Cooper and Mann venture out together to explore the planet. However, Mann's true intentions are revealed when he betrays Cooper. He sabotages Cooper's emergency oxygen supply and pushes him off a hill, intending to leave him for dead. Mann leaves Cooper to face his fate, but Cooper fights back, leading to a struggle. In the process, Mann cracks Cooper's visor, putting his life at risk. Meanwhile, Romilly remains at their base with Amelia. Tragically, Mann kills Romilly by detonating his station, leaving Amelia as the only remaining support for Cooper. Cooper manages to contact Amelia for assistance, and she rushes to his aid. They retrieve Tars, a robot companion, and set off in pursuit of Mann. Murph and Getty leave the house, following a group of vans evacuating the area as a dust storm begins to form. Murph, determined to convince Tom and his family to leave, drives into the cornfields and douses them with gasoline. She then ignites the fields with a flare, creating a dramatic visual display to persuade Tom and his family to evacuate the area. Cooper and Amelia find Mann trying to dock his shuttle with Endurance, but he neglects to secure the airlock. Amelia warns him too late, and the shuttle explodes, killing Mann. Cooper regains control of the Endurance with Tar's assistance and plans to collect data on the singularity near Gargantua. Their destination is now Edmund's planet. As they carefully manage their limited energy and oxygen supplies, Cooper decides to separate from Amelia and stays behind. Unexpectedly, Cooper falls into what appears to be another wormhole, transporting him to a peculiar dimension. In this dimension, he hears Tar's voice and sees Murph as a child through a bookcase, allowing him to access this unique space. Cooper recognizes the dimension as the creation of advanced beings. Witnessing the moment of his departure from Murph, he desperately tries to change the past by shouting at his past self to stay. Adult Murph, in the midst of her efforts to evacuate and extinguish the fire, has a sudden realization that her father has been the mysterious ghost in her room all along, leaving the Morse code message. This revelation ignites her determination to solve Brand's equation and rescue humanity. With excitement, she rushes to the research facility, gathers her old papers, and joyfully throws them in the air before sharing a heartfelt kiss with Getty. Meanwhile, Cooper's journey through the dimension reaches its conclusion as he drifts through space and eventually loses consciousness. Cooper wakes up in a special place where people take care of him. The doctor tells him to relax and take things slowly because he is now very old. Cooper looks out the window and sees kids playing baseball. The doctor explains that they are in a place called Cooper Station, named after Cooper's daughter Murph. The doctor says that Murph will be coming to see him in a few weeks. Cooper is given the broken parts of a robot called Tars. He fixes and changes Tars to be more truthful and a little bit funny. Cooper then goes back to his old home and works on the robot there. Cooper meets his great-grandchildren at the hospital, where he reunites with old Murph in her bed, surrounded by her family. Murph is happy to see her father, who kept his promise to come back to her. Knowing that her time is limited, she encourages Cooper to keep living and find someone to share his life with. She tells him to find Amelia, who is lost and creating a settlement somewhere far away. Meanwhile, Amelia is shown on Edmund's planet working on Plan B, trying to build a new community with small organisms, unaware of the current state of humanity. Cooper decides to follow Murph's advice and personally search for Amelia.